So first on your own seat, it was your first Lok Sabha election. You must be very disappointed.
Well, there's always a disappointment when you don't win. But then the delight of the BJP's victory, and at that level, is so large that my own defeat looks like a drop in the ocean. So it really doesn't matter.
Were you expecting this result in Amritsar?
Well, it was a challenging seat, we always knew. And once I started campaigning, there appeared to be some local factors which were creating an adversity.
An anti-incumbency against the Akalis.
There were some local factors there. But we thought we might still make it. Unfortunately, we didn't.
Do you regret having chosen Amritsar as your first Lok Sabha foray? I'm asking you that because, you know, the Akalis were very keen that you would come there, that we know. But everybody says if you'd contested from Delhi or Jammu, which were other considerations, Jaipur, you would have done very differently.
Like I could have, but you're always wiser after the event. But I won't say that. It was a collective decision. I don't think it was only Akalis who were responsible. My own party, I was a party to the decision. And I don't think I can hold anybody else but myself responsible for taking that decision. And I think it's always easier to be wise after the event.
Your family was a big part of this campaign. They might be, you know, more expressive about the disappointment.
I am for the over 4 decades literally a hardcore political worker. So these results don't adversely affect us in terms of disappointment or any such reaction.
But you won't stay away from, in terms of you maybe contesting another election in the future because your first experience has not been good.
You see, there is never a last day in the calendar of politics. It's an ongoing process. And as I said, I've been so involved in the national campaign of the BJP from day one that every inch of this delightful moment of victory is a part of me.
Captain Amrinder Singh and you exchanged some very sharp words during the campaign. Are you ready to bury the hatchet now? I saw you congratulate him on Twitter.
Why not? He has won and he has won decisively, so he deserves to be congratulated.
And you remember all those ugly words that both of you traded?
Well, I think...
or was it just a Punjabi argument?
No, it was an argument, and frankly, election will be too boring if those kind of exchanges don't take place.
Talk a little bit about the big picture now. Absolutely spectacular. Were you expecting it?
Well, we certainly knew we were going to do very well. And when there is a trend of this kind, there is no outer limit to the extent which you can go. For instance, people used to ask me, how many seats will you win in UP? Now, to suggest more than 70 would have sounded preposterous. But then we knew at 36% in four-cornered contest, out of 85, we'd won 58 in 1998. And this time, every poll gave us 40. So obviously, it had to be more than 58. But then you knew you will do very well, but you stopped short of naming the figure. And I think we could almost see a near 100% result in Delhi, in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, in Rajasthan, almost in Gujarat. And we knew that in North India, Central India and West India we'll do well. But I think it's the increase of our vote even in southern states, it's the increase of our vote even in East that's given us an all-India picture. It's probably the first time that we've got a vote so much larger
that you move beyond being a party of the North and the West in some ways.
Absolutely. Whether it's Karnataka or Telangana, even in Tamil Nadu we made our presence felt, in Bengal we made our presence felt, in Assam we made our presence felt. How does BJP pick up seats, let's say, in Arunachal Pradesh?
Yeah. Has it been a dual wave, a pro-Modi wave and a massive anti-Congress
wave? I'd always maintain that. There's a huge anti-incumbency and there is a hope. And there is a hope in a Modi-led BJP. Now the hope, it was a result of this hope that after some 20-30 years in India, you saw the institution of large political rallies re-emerging. And I think it was that hope which eventually made this wave even stronger.
How do you comment on Rahul Gandhi's very brief response? I take responsibility. Other people saying Mrs. Gandhi now has to play a more active role. But, you know, again, shielding the family, attacking the Prime Minister or the outgoing Prime Minister.
I have always believed that the Congress has a culture of its own kind. And that's because it's a family is the nucleus of the party. The party is a crowd around the family. So the family never makes a mistake. They either misled or it's a collective responsibility. If it's a credit, it belongs to the family.
But this is worse than 77.
Well, I think it's worse than 77 because 77 was an incorrect political decision.
The emergency, yeah.
This was a leadership failure. There was lack of leadership in government And the kind of leadership they projected for the future, there was a lack of faith in that leadership.
And essentially the BJP has taken votes from the Congress because other regional parties like, well, not in UP, not Mayawati and Mulayam Singh, but Naveen Patnaik, Jayalalitha,
No, quite to the contrary.
Mamata Banerjee have done
you're
well.
Absolutely right. And if I put it differently, wherever it was Congress versus the BJP, it was a one-way election. There was hardly a contest, except maybe Punjab, to a lesser extent, a little bit in Karnataka. But wherever it was BJP versus a third party, it was the AIDMK which stood up, it was the YSR, it was the TRS, it was the Biju Janata Dal, it was the Trinamool Congress. It's these parties that stood up to resist the BJP trend in these states. Otherwise, wherever it was BJP versus the Congress, whether it's Maharashtra or it's, let's say, Madhya Pradesh, it was a one-way election.
Are you going to need some of these leaders in the Rajya Sabha, people like Jayalalitha, for example?
You see, I think there's a difference between winning an election and governing a country. And if you govern a country, you'll probably need a much larger support base, a much larger goodwill, both through the political process, let's say even in terms of regional balance, even in terms of social balance. So you can't say a particular region can be ignored or a particular group can be ignored, religious or caste. So in a country as diverse as India, you'll have to carry everybody. Therefore, you'll have to take most of these people along. I think one big problem which was always conceived is resolved because we have an absolute majority on our own in the BJP. So providing a stable government is possible. Expanding NDA, yes, it's always possible. Passing legislation in the lower house is possible. What do we do in the upper house?
Yeah.
Don't forget, our lead in the lower house is going to be so substantial that even in the joint session we probably will have the numbers. And therefore, to carry numbers through in the upper house also will be possible. But at the same time, we will need a much larger goodwill across the political process, regions, social groups, and therefore we'll have to carry a number of people with us.
In the end, talk a little bit about what, the new look cabinet. It's going to take shape soon. In Punjab, you were pitched as possible next finance minister. Other reports suggest that you might be the next foreign minister. Is there a preference you have?
Well, I have absolutely no preference. You see, as I said, I work within the framework of the party. And working within the framework of the party, you do whatever the party decides.
You don't have a personal preference?
Well, I have no personal preference. If I'm asked to do organizational work, probably I'll be the happiest.
You mean you'd prefer to be out of government?
No, I am not for a moment suggesting that. These are decisions the party takes. But these are frankly areas where one has not even thought till today.
And reports that Sushma Swaraj is upset. Today she credited the BJP, not necessarily Mr. Modi.
Well, I think the media is being a little unkind to her. You see, last 5 years, she and I have worked together as leaders in the two houses, and in exposing this UPA, she's slogged literally. Both of us collectively did slog. Now, I used to read every day about differences between the two of us, and the manner in which we were able to coordinate at least 5 times every day when the parliament was in session was quite remarkable, and we used to laugh over it. Now, everybody can have views. Every view need not be identical. But that doesn't mean that she has any different approach or a different attitude as far as the current state is concerned.
And will Mr. Advani be speaker?
Well, we'll all decide that. The BJP parliamentary board is there. You have the party president. You will have the possible prime minister who will all take these decisions.